X-23 was created to be a weapon thanks to her mentor Wolverine. She was also able to escape that past, but tragically, the original Wolverine has fallen and no one has taken up the mantle. As his adopted daughter, Laura has taken up the mantle to carry on his name. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This takes place in the all-new Wolverine and the all-new, all-different Marvel. Things begin with Laura taking bullets into her back. There's a sniper on the Eiffel Tower. And as she looks up at the tower, she takes a shot to the head, knocking her out. She wakes up shortly, allowing her brain to knit itself back together because she has the healing factor of the original Wolverine. As a matter of fact, she is a clone with the claws and temperament to boot. She drops her raincoat, throws on her mask, and decides that it's time for the Wolverine to go up the tower and say hello. She gets up the tower and is welcomed by the sniper opening fire on her as she cuts off the tip of the gun. They go back and forth with Laura asking her to stop, but the assassin tells her that she should be helping them. Laura takes the assassin's arm and breaks it. Doesn't that hurt? Nothing hurts. The French police arrive, pointing their guns at everyone, and the assassin leaps off the tower to her death. So Laura follows up the side of the tower, counting as she goes. 1, 2, 3, and nothing happens. I said 3! Anytime now! Angel comes swooping in to pick her up. I thought you weren't coming there for a second, Angel. Just counting to 3 when I don't know exactly where you are and gravity is involved is a bad idea, Laura. He flies her over to the airship and she tells him to get the civilians out of the way while he drops her on the back of the ship. Using the claws in her hands and feet, she holds on tight and then she starts to tear apart the plane's guts. The whole plane comes barreling down onto the streets, blowing up, and Laura bounces away from the wreckage. Angel flies over, watching her pop her bones back into place, and she stops him. Wait, don't hug me. I have 6 broken ribs, a dislocated shoulder, and 3rd-degree burns all over. Anything with a tight embrace is going to hurt. Is there anything I can do in the meantime? Anything that doesn't involve tight embraces. So Angel pats her on the head. Are you patting me on the head? A little awkward? A little awkward. I didn't say stop. Once she heals, Angel carries her over to where all of the civilians are taking pictures of the dead assassin. Laura removes her mask and sees herself, a version of her that couldn't feel pain. So Angel picks her up and they take off into the skies. She goes to the Alchemex facility to meet with the director of Alchemex. It was her son that she was saving from the assassin originally, and Captain Mooney, the head of Alchemex's covert operations, explains that these individuals have been targeting Alchemex facilities in acts of terrorism. This group has been trained as an advanced security team trained to protect diplomats and humanitarian organizations, but they became twisted and turned against the company, and now they're killing everyone connected to the company. Laura wants to know the obvious question: why do they look like her? And the director explains that they are her clones. His predecessor acquired her DNA and tried to make more of her, but they don't have her healing factor or her style of claws or her conscience. Laura looks at him. I will find them and make them stop, and I will do what's right. As she leaves, though, the order to follow her is given. She is aware of it and she scares off the people tailing her before Angel flies her up to Logan's old apartment that she now owns. She asks Angel to leave and then she turns around to the clone of her. The clone asks if Laura killed her sister, and Laura tells her no. Then she looks at Laura while digging around her fridge. They're going to kill us. I don't want my sisters to die. It was you that led me to Paris, wasn't it? Yeah, I guess I hoped. We're your clones. You know what it's like to be used. You should be helping us. I won't help you kill. They took away pain and feelings from us. Don't hunt us. Help us. Then Laura begins to smell smoke, and she runs into her bedroom to find a fire on a plate on her bed. When she comes back out into the living room, the girl is gone. But Laura is the Wolverine, and tracking is her game. She follows the girl to the rest of the clones, and all of them point their guns at her. She holds her hands in the air. It's okay, I just want to. And then one of them shoots her in the stomach, and then over and over. Laura wakes up tied to a chair with the girl called Bellona holding a knife to her. They tell Laura that they want to talk, and Laura tells them that she wanted to before they shot her. They try to explain that it's not them. They didn't do the explosion, and there's more to this going on than she has seen. Laura tells them quiet, she needs to be untied. People are coming. Captain Mooney and his troops all appear on the walkway above them. Captain Mooney, I was talking to them. Give me a chance to work this out, Laura asks, and he tells the soldiers to shoot the clones. An all-out brawl begins with all 4 of the girls jumping in and cutting up the soldiers with claws and knives until eventually they are all down and Bellona has a gun to Mooney's head. Bellona tells Laura that this one was their jailer for years, and Laura pleads with her not to do it. No more people need to die. Suddenly, she takes a bullet to the head, and then all of the other clones take hits because Taskmaster is standing there. He kneels over the troops and he reports in that they've all been handled non-lethally, though they'll be a little sore with the way Wolverine treated them. Then Laura pulls out her claws and Taskmaster stops. I'll have to get back to you. I was only hired to bring in these three. Not really interested in you. Laura isn't listening. The rage has taken over as she bounds in to fight him. But this is Taskmaster, and his power is to adapt and mimic any move that you use on him, allowing him to counter anything that she throws at him, until he catches a kick and she pops her claw in her foot, stabbing his hand. Then she hits him and beats him down, knocking him out. The three girls get up, telling Laura that was badass, and then they show her their body armor that protected them. Bellona wants to kill Taskmaster because he'll chase them, but Laura won't let her do it. So another of the girls shoots Taskmaster in the kneecaps, while Gabby, the youngest, is putting a man's fingers next to him just in case he plays the piano. They all load up into the girl's car and they head off, but quickly the Alchemex guys get on their tails again. Laura realizes what's going on. In the lab, Mooney cut her to check if it was the real her, and they put a tracker in her. Mooney then opens fire with armor-piercing rounds shredding the Humvee. Laura tells them to stay in the Humvee, they have holes in them from the bullets. She jumps out of the Humvee into Mooney's, smashing the windshield, and then she tears off the steering wheel and jumps out of the car, stopping her slide with her claws. Mooney's Humvee plows into a telephone pole, totaling it. Mooney then pulls himself out of the wreckage and Laura walks over. If you or Alchemex Genetics comes after them again, I won't hold back. I've already beaten you unconscious once today, and now I'm leaving you in the wreckage of a car alone and bleeding. That's me holding back. She walks over to the girls to see that Zelda's laid out, and Laura asks if she's gonna be okay. But Zelda tells her she wasn't injured, she's dying. And Bellona finishes the sentence. We all are. Alchemex took away their pain, but they also took away years from the girls. And Laura has an idea to fully understand the situation, but she warns them things are about to get weird. She takes them to see Dr. Strange. He appears before them asking, what could Wolverine want with Dr. Strange? She tells him that she doesn't need the Strange, she needs the Doctor. He takes them inside where the cupboard winks at Bellona, and Gabby is amazed that it's raining outside one window, but not the other. Before Strange is willing to help though, he decides that he needs to look into the souls of the girls. Gabby has seen much evil, but she is innocent and fundamentally good. Zelda, not so good. And Bellona doesn't like Strange judging her and is thinking of creative ways to murder him. Laura tells him, see, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. So Strange pulls her aside. Are you sure you want to help these girls? She tells him that she has done a lot of bad things, but there's always a chance for salvation. That's when they both hear blam, blam, blam back in the main room, and they enter to see the cupboard glowing and opening, and Bellona said that it winked at her again. Strange tells them that they have broken the seal and to stand back, and at that moment a giant monster pours out of it and it runs into the streets. Strange hands Wolverine his axe to use, and he informs her, it's an axe with a pointy end, you'll know what to do. She begins slicing through the monster's limbs with ease as the girls all get the civilians to safety. While they do successfully beat the monster, after the fight is over, Zelda is laid out on the ground across the street. So Strange takes her and teleports everyone to the nearby hospital, where he hits her with some scans and discovers what's actually going on. They discover that there are nanites inside of the girls, killing them. They are far too small and numerous for him to operate on, but he has another idea: science. He teleports them all to Hank Pym's old lab to get the Ant-Man suit. And that's when Janet Van Dyne grows in front of them, demanding to know what's going on. Laura explains that Strange teleported them all in to get the Ant-Man suit and battle against nanites. So Janet calls up Strange. You have my number. The next time you want to teleport desperate armed people onto my property, you call ahead. It may not sound like Sorcerer Supreme, but it's common courtesy, Steven. But Janet isn't a monster, so she gives Laura the suit and the two of them shrink down and they enter Zelda's bloodstream. Going the brute force method, Laura does what a Wolverine does best and claws up all of the nanites that she can find. With her muscles constantly repairing, she doesn't even need to stop. But eventually, Zelda stands feeling better. She wants to know what's going on, and Bellona tells her that it's a little hard to explain, so Gabby tries. Teeny tiny warrior women are fighting for your life against teeny tiny robots in your body. Then the windows begin to crack and Zelda sees blood on her stomach. Then she says the one thing that we never thought these girls would say. It hurts. An explosion rocks the lab and Mooney walks in telling the girls that they should have stayed in their cages. Then, as Gabby headbutts him, he throws her aside. Zelda stumbles over to him ready to fight and he shoots her again, happy that he could hurt her finally. In the pool of blood on the ground, Laura comes jumping out of Zelda, grows, and slices up Mooney. Then Janet gets behind him, shocking his head with her wasp stings. Mooney hits the ground and everyone runs to Zelda's side. Gabby can't help but say, no, 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 no! Over and over. But we saved you! Yeah, you did, Zelda tells her. Then, when Laura gets over to her, she tells her, I know what you were trying to do, but fight it. Whatever is stopping you from unleashing, fight it. Hurt them. They need to understand that they can bring us into this world, but they can't own us. And then, Zelda dies. Janet tells Wolverine that she'll take Mooney in, and that they need to get these nanites out of the other girls. But Wolverine tells her, the nanites aren't killing them yet, and what happens next, they need not to feel. We're gonna go teach Alchemex a lesson. The next day, Mooney managed to take a car and drive it to the hidden base of Alchemex. He walked in and he told them that he had no idea how he got away, but he woke up and stole the car. But Mr. Chandler knows the truth. Wolverine let him go, and she's hunting him. Laura, Bellona, and Gabby are all outside, and they start shooting up the guards until Bellona runs ahead of everyone to take out more. She's instantly shot up and killed. Realizing that they are overwhelmed, Laura grabs Gabby and begins running back for cover. But once they get the body inside, they discover something odd. Bellona's hair isn't actually her hair. It's a wig, and that's when Laura wakes up from healing and pops both her claws. She threatens to murder the scientists unless they release all of the information out to the address that she provided, and then she walks out the front door, opening it. Bellona and Gabby walk in, and Laura and Bellona change their clothes back as Laura calls up Maria Hill of S.H.I.E.L.D. to inform her of the secret base with the experiments. Maria wants to know who this is. Only 8 people have this number, and one of them is dead. And Laura tells her the dead one gave it to her. Bellona and Gabby run off and they start beating on Mooney, who doesn't even put up much of a fight this time. And that's when Bellona shoots him twice in the head. She walks out to inform Gabby that she has to go. This is goodbye. And Gabby asks her if she'll see Bellona again. Bellona holds her close, telling her, when you grow up, look in the mirror. Laura walks in to find Mr. Chandler trying to make a break for it, so she slices his hamstring, keeping him from going anywhere. And once Gabby comes in, Laura says that they should go before S.H.I.E.L.D. gets there, but Gabby asks for a moment alone with Mr. Chandler. Laura leaves the room and Gabby pulls out her claw, telling Mr. Chandler that regardless of what they tried to do to her, she still wants to be a good person. She then stabs the ground in front of him, telling him this is how close he came. Bye! As they leave, Laura asks Gabby if she killed him. She tells her no. You're the worst at what they wanted you to do, Gabby. And that's pretty impressive. They leave the base for S.H.I.E.L.D. to clean up, and that's when Bellona is on a helicopter, and the person across from her tells her, I held up my end of the bargain. I broke you out and I helped you get your revenge. Now I want those nanites out of your body. Person across from her is Kamara, the woman that tortured Laura back when she was a weapon herself. Her handler. If you want to find out what happens next, then you need to read All New Wolverine number 7, or you can pick up 1 through 6 and read this story yourself. I'm personally loving the new take on Wolverine. If you want to chat with me on Twitter, it's at Comicstorian. I'm on Instagram at Comicstorian, and if you want to see some video game comic books or unnecessary censorship or us playing Let's Plays, then go check out our gameplay channel, Eligible Monster. The link to that is down below, and I'll see you guys next time right here.